This is how you can build the strongest Roccia in Wuthering Waves. Yup, with the recent changes, she's finally worth pulling and building, so I'll finally make a guide on her. Alright, let's start by simplifying her kit. Basic attack, forehead combo that does havoc damage. Heavy attack, consumes stamina to attack the enemy, dealing havoc damage. This is more of a way to charge your forte. The longer you hold it, the more forte stacks that you get. You can gain up to 2 forte bars from this. You can even use this with 0 stamina if you started charging with more than 0 stamina. I mainly use this when the enemy hits me and I need to get back up, or if I'm missing a forte stack. When your forte is full, you can just do a quick heavy attack to go up. You don't need to hold your heavy attack as long, just a quick tap and then bam. With their attack, consume stamina to do a plunging attack, dealing havoc damage. Dodge counter is always dodge attack, deal havoc damage. Alright, let's get to her skill. So with her skill, she pulls all of the enemies towards her and deals havoc damage, and then she jumps up and down saying Mamma Mia. Let's be honest here guys, this is the only reason why you pulled her. Oh, and you can also enter this state by holding the attack button when her forte is full, and this damage is considered heavy attack damage, like most of her kit. So yeah, you want heavy attack damage bonus rolls on your echoes. So when you first choose her skill, you will notice that her forte bar changes and she can only jump once. So how do you get more jumps? Well, you need more forte stacks. So what are her forte stacks? Well, she has 3 forte bars here, and each bar has 100 stacks. So yeah, she can hold up to 300 stacks. Her forte stacks are called imagination, and you use 140 stacks each time you do her Mamma Mia jump attack. So yeah, if you want all 3 of her jumps for her max damage, then make sure that your forte is full and that you have 3 bars. Now you guys are probably wondering, how do you get forte stacks? Well, you can get them by holding the attack button. But yeah, this is pretty slow and I wouldn't really recommend it, but it works. So next phase by using her intro. So we fill up her consoro, there we go, and then we switch to her and she gets 140 stacks, which you always want to use. And you can also get 40 stacks when you do her basic attacks. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. There we go. The 4th one gives her an extra bar. Alright, so why did I mention that? Well, that's because of her intro puts her on her 3rd basic attack. So if you do one more, then you can get 240 bars. Alright, so she has 0 40 stacks right now. So we can go here, get the intro, there we go, and then we switch to Roccia, and then do one basic attack. There we go, we got 2 bars now. And then the last phase is from her skill, so you get 140 stacks if you use her skill, there we go. And then yeah, you can do all of the Mamma Mia attacks. Alright, so why did I mention that in that order? Well, that is because it's the fastest phase to generate her 40 stacks. So yeah, you first start with her intro, which does some havoc damage and gives her 140 stacks, and it also puts her on her 3rd basic attack, and then you do one more attack and bam, 4th basic attack, 240 stacks, which is all you need. Anything more is a waste since you gain the last 100 from her skill. And yeah, that's it, it's that easy. Next you have her ultimate. So first it does an initial hit of havoc damage, which is again considered heavy attack damage, and for each 0.1% of crit rate over 50, she gives all of the characters on your team up to 200 extra attack for 30 seconds. So yeah, you want 70 crit rate for a full attack buff. Next we have her outro. So it gives the next character you switch to 20% havoc damage amplification and 25% basic attack damage amplification. But that's not all guys. So with her inherent skill 2, she changes the next character's utility to her magic box, which deals 100 havoc damage and pulls the enemy towards it. So yeah, crowd control, perfect for smaller enemies, and echo farming. So yeah, it lights up and then you just use your utility button, which is T on PC. And yeah, this lasts for 14 seconds. Until the character switched out. So yeah, the same duration as her outro. Just make sure to use this as soon as you use her outro to get the full buff. Let's get to her inherent skill 1. So after you use her skill or her heavy attack, she boosts her own attack by 20% for 12 seconds. So how do you activate a character's intro or outro? Well, if you look down here, each character has another bar called the consoro bar. You don't share it. Everyone gets their own consoro bar and the value stays the same when you change characters. You can fill up the consoro bar by hitting enemies with different attacks. So each attack gives you a different amount of consoro energy, which you can always see down here in the skill details. So yeah, ultimate gives 20, skill 15. You can always check it down here. And once you fill up the consoro bar all the way, all of your characters on the right will glow. And once you switch your character, the character who's leaving the field will activate their outro, and the character entering the field will activate their intro. So why does Phrolova want her? Well, the main reason is because of her outro here. So in Phrolova's best team we have Phrolova, of course, Roccia and Cantarella. So Phrolova's outro gives Roccia heavy attack damage bonus, which is most of her damage. And Roccia's outro gives Cantarella basic attack damage bonus, which is most of Cantarella's damage. And then Cantarella gives Phrolova skill damage, which is most of her damage. So yeah, this is a perfect loop. And the most important part of Roccia's outro is her box. So when you use her outro, then the utility button of the next character glows. And once you press it, it pulls the enemies and does havoc damage. And is considered as an echo skill. If you're confused right now, then don't worry. You will understand her a lot better once you get to her rotations. So for her talents priority, her forte is the most important one, and then her ultimate and her skill. As for her basic attack and her intro, you can leave them at 6 or 5. If you're low on resources, it could get expensive with a weekly boss match. And yeah, next we can move on to her weapons. I think it's so cool that Pero is the one who's holding the weapons. Like, yeah, that's a good detail. Alright, so when it comes to her weapons, her signature is of course her best in slot weapon. So if you want the max buffs from Roccia, then you need 70 crit rate. So yeah, the crit rate here helps. I mean, she has a base crit rate of 5. And then you get a 22% crit rate from the forecast. So yeah, just with that, you're already at 51% crit rate. And you'll need 19 crit rate from your echoes, which yeah, should be a lot easier with her weapon. And keep in mind, guys, that she doesn't have any crit rate on her skill tree. So yeah, you need to get the crit rolls yourself from the echoes. And the high attack here helps since it's a 5-star weapon. And then we have an extra 12% from here. And the heavy attack damage bonus is pretty good since most of her attacks is heavy attack damage. So yeah, you won't need as many heavy attack damage bonus rolls on your echoes with this. But if I'm being honest here, I personally will not be getting this weapon since there aren't that many gauntlet characters in the game who can use this. I mean, there's only like 6 gauntlet characters in the entire game. So yeah, easy skip for me. I would instead go with Xiangliao's weapon. I mean, it has crit rate, the same attack, and 12% havoc damage bonus. So yeah, not that bad. And this is only like 12% worse than her signature. But Zani's weapon can work too. But yeah, it's not a crit rate weapon like her signature weapon. So yeah, good luck getting the 70% crit rate for her max buffs. Next we have the standard gauntlet, the Abyss Surges. It's not a bad option. I mean, it's not crit rate, but the ER here helps. I wouldn't recommend getting this weapon since it's an attack weapon until you have the standard sword and the standard gun, since these are both crit rate weapons and yeah, you can use them on a lot more characters and they have more account value. So yeah, you will be getting more use out of these too. I mean, again, there are only 6 gauntlet characters in the game so far, and realistically people only use 2 of them. Pull wisely. This is a damage comparison between all of her weapons. Just try to get 70% crit rate. When it comes to her echoes, well, she has 2 choices. The Midnight Veil set, which is the best since it gives Roccia more damage, and the Moonlit Cloud set, which gives Roccia less personal damage but buffs the next character a lot more. So the difference with this set is that it gives more damage to your main DPS, and this works on more teams since it's not like havoc damage bonus, this is attack bonus, so every single character in the game can use this. While this one here mainly benefits a havoc DPS. Alright, so I got this screenshot from I Went to Lose Gaming, and if you look at the difference between the Midnight Veil set and the Moonlit Cloud set, so with the Midnight set, Roccia does a lot more damage here, as you can see, like her personal damage a lot more compared to the Moonlit set, like yeah, a lot lower damage. But then if you take a look here, so Camellya's damage, as you can see, it's 4% more on the Moonlit Cloud set, so yeah, more damage for Camellya. But again, like I said earlier, she will have less overall team damage, but it's like 2.8% damage, so it doesn't even matter. Like that's barely a difference. And you should also keep in mind that you need a good Midnight Veil set, so you can't just like slap random ones on your Roccia. It needs to have good stats, which will take a lot of tuners and echo XP. And before you guys ask in the comments, yes, you can give her the Havoc Eclipse set, so basically your Camellya set, and play her as a main DPS. So your echo choice depends on her team. In the Camellya team, I would just use the Moonlit Cloud set if I don't have the Midnight Veil set. The difference is not that big, it's like 1 or 2%. And most of the damage in this team will come from Camellya anyways. Moonlit is a lot easier to build too, and you can share the pieces with your other characters. But for Phrolova, I highly recommend the Midnight Veil set. So in this team, most of the damage, like 90%, comes from Camellya, so it doesn't really matter. But for Phrolova, I highly recommend the Midnight Veil set. Since in the Phrolova team, you will start with Phrolova first to build up her Aftersound stacks, and then move on to Roccia and then Cantarella. So yeah, with Roccia, you will basically be buffing Cantarella instead of Phrolova. So the Moonlit Cloud set is not as optimal here. Just from the Midnight Veil set, since Phrolova depends on your other characters doing damage too, so Roccia's personal damage matters too. Alright, let's get to the forecast. So for the new set, the Midnight Veil, you would ideally want the Nightmare Aeron. I mean, it gives you a 12% Havoc damage bonus, just by equipping this, and 12% heavy attack damage bonus, which Roccia needs, so yeah, this is perfect for her. As for Allura, I wouldn't recommend this. It's not good on Roccia since it gives her basic attack damage instead of heavy attack, so yeah, just stick with the Nightmare Heron, it's better. As for the Moonlit stat, you of course want the Heron. And when it comes to the Echo's main stats, so with the 3 cost, it depends on what weapon you have on her. There's like a 4 to 7% difference depending on what weapon you're using, so yeah, just look at this chart and you pick one depending on the weapon that you're using. One crit damage or crit rate on your 4 cost. For the 3 cost, again it depends on the weapon that you have on her. Double Havoc or Havoc and attack. As for the 1 cost, yup, you only have attack. And when it comes to substats, you want 20 to 30% ER since you need her ultimate every rotation. And yeah, this has the energy cost of 125, so yeah, make sure you have enough energy, and also make sure that you have 70 crit rate to get the max attack buff for your team. And then yeah, you have the usual crit damage, attack, and heavy attack. When it comes to recommended stats, you want 2000 attack, 20% crit rate, the most important stat, 240% plus crit damage, 120% to 130% ER, but I recommend going for 130% for smoother rotations, and 30% heavy attack damage bonus. So when it comes to teams, her best team and the team that put her in the meta is Phrolova, Roccia, and Cantarella. This team is perfect. All of these characters are made for each other and they also buff each other. So yeah, you start with Phrolova, go to Roccia, and then Cantarella, and then back to Phrolova, and then yeah, you just repeat this loop. So because of her outro here, the Havoc damage bonus and the basic attack damage bonus, her perfect teammate is of course Camellya. But she also works well with Havoc characters like Aero Rover or Dungeon. Look at that characters like Brant. But yeah, I've seen people playing her as a main DPS with Morifi because of his outro, the 38% heavy attack damage bonus. But yeah, let's be honest here, Morifi would be better on a Qiuyuan team and Roccia would be better in a Havoc team. So I wouldn't really recommend this team. But she can also work well with Encore or with Changli. I'll probably use her with Changli for echo farming. But yeah, thanks to her low field time, she could honestly work in any team as a Moonlit set buffer. As for the healer, any healer works, but yeah, the best are Cantarella, the Shorekeeper, and Rina. And the Shorekeeper could help with her crit rate requirements since she gives everybody on the team 12.5% crit rate with her ultimate. Alright, let's get to her sequences real quick. So her S1 gives her 140 stacks. Adds in Concerto after you use her skill. So yeah, it lowers her field time. So you won't need the fourth basic attack hit from her intro. You can just do intro and then skill and then yeah, you're done. It also makes her immune to interruption when you do her 40 jump attacks, her Mamma Mia. This is a good quality of life, but that lowers the character's damage because it lowers her field time, so yeah, less time to do damage. Her S2 makes her the best Havoc sub DPS in the entire game. So it gives her up to 40% Havoc damage bonus for the entire team after you use her 40 jump attacks or Mamma Mia attacks. So yeah, you can basically run Camellya with double attack 3 costs and still do a lot of damage. Her S3 increases her crit rate by 10% and her crit damage by 30% for 15 seconds after you use her intro. So yeah, this helps you with her ultimate attack buff, the 70% crit rate. Her S4 increases the damage multiplier of her 40 jump attacks by 60% for 12 seconds. Her S5 increases the damage multiplier of her ultimates multipliers by 20% and her heavy attack damage multiplier by 80%. Her S6 makes her 40 jump attacks ignore 60% of the enemy's defense, and she can do like 10 jump attacks like bam 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 bam. So yeah, OP. So yeah, your main goal is to fill her Concerto as fast as possible, because the longer she's on field, the less damage your main DPS will do. So yeah, get all the 3 jumps and then use her ultimates to buff your team's attack. So you start with the intro, you get the 140 stacks and then do a basic attack, and it also puts you in her third basic attack. So yeah, one more and then bam, fourth basic attack, 240 stacks, and then you use her skill to get a third 40 stacks, and then you do 3 basic attacks, so the 3 Mamma Mias, her ultimates, echo, and then you swap to your main DPS and use the box immediately, and yeah, you're done. It's that simple and fast. Oh, and if you end up getting interrupted, which you will if you don't have her S1, then you can just hold the attack button and yeah, go back up again. So she worth pulling. Well, ever since I got her, I stopped using Sanhua with my Camellya. So she's more of a okay, if you have her, then you love her. But if you don't have her, then yeah, you have S6 Sanhua. As for a Phrolova team, she's a flexible unit in this team, so you can easily swap her with Danjin, Varina, Shorekeeper, or Aero Rover. But I don't really regret pulling her. I know people like comparing her with Sanhua, but in AoE content like the Whimpering Wastes, she just destroys Sanhua. So if I already had Phrolova and Cantarella, and I have the extra asterites, then yeah, I would pull her. But if I don't have Phrolova's weapon or Cantarella, then I would skip her. Since Cantarella is more important in that team, and the newer characters Augusta and Yuno, they're just peak, so yeah, gotta save up for them. If you're still missing asterites, then don't worry. Crew Games gave us extra codes to give away. You can join our Discord server, link in the pinned comment, and then go to the giveaway channel there to join the giveaway. They gave us a lot of codes, so yeah, I'll have to give away some every few weeks now. And you can also get a free to play or forced to pay tag on our Discord server for free just by joining. You can use this tag everywhere. You can join our Discord server if you need help with anything in the game. You can ping the game helper role, and you won't ever miss free asteroid codes or events, or if you need help farming echoes. If this video helped you, then you can help me by liking and subscribing, and yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day or night, and thank you so much for watching.